So that's the roll-up, the old school roll-up originally, no modification. As I inhale, I'm bringing my arms up over my head, beginning to curl forward. And then exhale, I complete it, stretching as I really reach through the heels and lengthen the back of my legs. Inhaling, I reach my feet forward, toes downward, and roll easily through in one single inhalation until I'm back flat on the mat with my arms raised, at which point I release and really tighten that form. Inhale, I begin again. So that follows up the 100. That's exercise number 2. What's really important for the accomplishment of this exercise is after you have really found the support of the ground, releasing your breath and excess tension that will prevent you from going through this forward motion flexibly without pain and without injury. Obviously, that's a difficult task. It's hard to do, and that's why people come here. So, one of the we'll go over some initial prep exercises that we use to focus on that release. So the first one that we'll go through is the hip ups. Hip ups help you because it's a real challenge to try to go through movement and change your breathing pattern at the same time. Or rather, it's hard to go through challenging movement and try to change your breathing pattern at the same time. So what most people try to do to go into this exercise is, and then try to throw their legs up, holding their breath after taking in a big gulp of it. But we're going to exhale. So inhale to find the support of the mat, and then exhale to use that support for leverage. Now you'll notice I don't go up very high. I'm not bringing my legs up over my head. I'm not jumping up. I'm working with control, grounding my legs into one another, supporting the legs with one another, both pressing them together and trying to pull them apart. I'm using the mat under my rib cage. And then I take in a nice slow inhale. And then exhale, slow and complete. So this really all works from my exhalation, from the releasing of my breath. And as my breath is released, all of the muscles around my center tighten and allow my spine to go through a flexion motion, trying to bring my pelvis over my head. I'm countering that with the activity that I'm doing with the legs, but none of that really works if I'm holding my breath. If I try to hold my breath, I'm going to be really tight, and my back is really going to want to arch back instead of lifting forward. If I try to strain my breath, same problem. So we have to work on just releasing it. Just let it go. Don't try to push it out. Don't try to force it out. Don't try to do anything with it other than letting go. And if you think about it, it's very logical anyway. If you have poison in your body, you want to get rid of it. And the exhaust that you are breathing out, your exhale, that's poison. That's why you're getting rid of it. So get it out, because it only does you any good at this point as it leaves. As it leaves, your diaphragm gets a chance to fully operate. The muscles between the ribs get a chance to fully tighten and operate. And you are resetting your core to begin supporting you again as you inhale. So exhale, inhale to prepare, and then exhale. Release. Those are hip ups. And then, of course, you cross your legs the other way. I like to start left over right, and then switch to right over left. Next, the point with this is to start as if it were a pelvic rock, just tucking the tail towards the sky, and rolling up. And then exhaling, releasing yourself back down. Inhale to prepare. Sorry. Yeah, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just seeing what simply exhaling does to improve both your flexible range of motion and the strength that's available to carry you from one point to another. You should have support, so it should be easy to just relax your arms, relax your head, relax your shoulders, even relax your heels, so that you can work on feeling for the release of your breath and the tightening that it causes around your middle and on the inside and on the inner thighs and for strength. And then once you get comfortable with those and feeling how your spine is really able to articulate bone by bone, little movements, you can go into simple roll downs. So, a lot of different ways to achieve this. Simplest way, in my opinion, is to inhale, roll back as far as you can. If it's this far, great. Exhale. Really release your breath to come back to this position so that you don't fall into the trap of over-engaging your abdominals, over-engaging your low back, over-engaging your quadriceps and your shins, tightening your feet back, pressing your knees down, instead of activating your spine and your stabilizers, leaving everything else free for movement. So I'll show you again. I'm sitting on my sitting bones. I'm resting into my heels. I'm going to inhale, lift the rib cage, exhale, drop the shoulders. Inhale, I'm going to stretch my feet forward, toes downward, and tuck my tail under and curl my chin towards my chest as far as I can go, up to laying all the way down. Exhaling, I do the opposite. In the beginning, if you're just getting started with these, don't even attempt to go all the way back. Try it once or twice just to see what it's like, but if it's super difficult, don't go all the way back. Go to this point and work on building a form gradually. So it does you no good to be really well formed to this point and then end up doing something like this. And then try to throw yourself forward. Does you no good? None at all whatsoever. So, work to find your range just to the point where you're not quite beyond the point of no return, and then challenge yourself to let go of your breath. Until you can go further and further back, recovering just as well as when you were just going back this far. So those are simple roll downs, many variations, but I would stick with the simple variation, or the simple version in the beginning. Inhale. Exhale. All right, and then to finish, we'll go through the first position of an exercise called the open leg rocker. Now, the open leg rocker is pretty advanced. It's from the old school exercises, but you start from this position. You rest back into this position. You go from here to here to here, and then here, and then back to this. So we're going to start with the first position, going from that roll down, widening out the legs, stretching the feet forward, toes downward, and doing another kind of roll down, but this time Before you really get all the way back, find the top of the inner thighs. Grab both sides and push your legs in toward one another. Pull with your hands. Create some tension, a real good tug of war between arms and legs. So, I'm going to start here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Until I'm resting, balanced on my sacrum. Shoulders, chest nice and open and wide. Legs stretched forward. And arms and legs really balancing one another in their tension towards one another. Inhaling. I come back to this position. Exhaling. I'm releasing. Inhaling. Exhaling. Really feeling the engagement of my center, my obliques, and the connection from the abdominals to the inner thigh through the activity that's going on between the arms and legs, and the activity of shortening and tightening the muscles between the shoulder blades as my chest muscles stretch out, forming nice, good musculature for support rather than all bunched up and tight into the front with nothing in the back. So there you go. Release. Once you find support from the ground, release yourself into it by releasing your breath in order to release excess tension, and you'll be on your way to a rollout. Thanks.